What it do, bruh? Talk of the town, Nintendo, Doc Trey, still holding it down, still make the best games, and you know this, bro. It's the truth. You don't like it, you can have that seatbelt.
Now, this is a pretty hilarious comparison to me, because I remember back in the Wii U days, a lot of Sony fanboys and Xbox fanboys were trying to tell me that I couldn't talk about graphics. The doctor can't talk about graphics because he owns a Wii U. And that's hilarious on its own, with the fact that I also own a PS4. So yeah, pretty funny. So because the Wii U was my system of choice last generation, that meant that I was not able to talk about graphics. Interesting. So this was also an era where Microsoft, especially, promised this really powerful console in the original Xbox One, and the graphics weren't exactly living up to expectations, and a lot of people were damage controlling for it. And one of the games in question that I gave a seat to was Halo 5 Guardians. And the damage control that I got from that was, well, they had to do all this scaling back because it's 60 frames per second. Okay. Sure. But this is where things get interesting, because Metroid Prime 4 has just been shown, and this game is 60 frames per second also. And it's funny comparing these games because Halo 5 was running on a system that was 1.3 teraflops. The Switch is a sub 400Gflops machine. Yet, let's look at the results here. Pretty hilarious.
The nature of this system is actually quite a feat of engineering in its effectiveness. Texture filtering predictably takes a hit as well, with low levels of filtering used across the game. While the impact of these decisions is clearly felt, we do feel it's a fair trade-off to make for such a consistent level of performance. Let's take a look at Halo 5's level of detail system. As in many games, object detail is adjusted based on proximity. This means that models will use lower quality assets from a distance, with higher quality models being swapped in as the players move closer. The issue here is that these LODs often appear too close to the player and lack any sort of transition. It just sort of pops. Take a look at this scene. Notice how the background geometry pops in as we move closer and further. Then we have crumbs, the smaller objects used to add extra detail to a scene. You can see it here with the abundance of rocks spread along the ground. As players move closer to the debris, you'll notice a mesh pattern is used to transition between different levels of detail. This is actually a method that was used in Bungie's games as well, but in Halo 5 we noticed instances where dithering remains present even at very close proximity. For the environmental alpha effects, we see a different approach entirely. Look at the fire in this scene. As we walk into the fire, note how it disappears or changes appearance. It would appear that effects are called from view as the player approaches. We see the same thing here, and here as well. This certainly helps prevent people from shoving the camera right into a fire texture and dropping the frame rate, but it can result in some rather awkward looking moments.
So as we can see there, Halo 5 Guardians targeting 60 frames per second on the Xbox One caused them to have to pare down the visuals significantly. Alpha effects pared down, draw distance pared down, dithering up the yin-yang. Surely Metroid Prime 4 targeting a system 1/3 the power of the Xbox One can't compete graphically, right? Right?